Hello and welcome back to Global Math Mentor. Today we're solving Module 2 of the Math section from the Digital SAT Practice Test 5. If you haven't watched Module 1, the link is in the description. Check that out first to stay on track. Let's jump right in and break down these questions one by one. Before we jump into solving, let's quickly go over these official instructions. They explain exactly how to fill in both multiple choice and student produced response questions. Take a moment to review this carefully, especially the rules for grid and answers, things like how to round decimals, what not to write, and how many digits you can actually use. All of that matters for getting credit. I'll leave this on screen for a few seconds so you can pause and read through if needed. Question one, what is 20% of 440? So these kind of questions you can just straight away put in the calculator. And 20% is a 0.2 times the 440, and that's 88. So B is the correct answer. Question two, argon is placed inside the container with constant volume. The graph shows the estimated pressure Y in pounds per square inch, PSI of the argon when its temperature is X Kelvin. Pressure is on the Y-axis, temperature is on the X-axis. What is estimated pressure of argon in PSI when the temperature is 600 kelvins? So you just need to identify what is the value corresponding 600 on the y-axis. So that exactly is 12. B is the correct answer. Question 3. The function f is defined by f of x as 4x minus 3, a linear function. What is the value of f of 10? So you need to put in 10 in place of x, 4 times 10 and minus 3. This is going to be 40 minus 3. That's a 37. B is the correct answer. Question 4. Which expression is equivalent to 16x cubed y squared plus 14xy? And observe each option is in factorized form. So you need to factorize this expression. Let me just write it first. So you need the highest common factor out, 16 and 14. So 2 goes out. Pull out the x and factorize y squared and y. You're going to get a y. This will be x squared 8 and y plus a 7. So that's the correct answer. See which option looks correct. B is the correct answer. Question 5. A veterinarian recommends that each day a certain rabbit should eat 25 calories per pound of the rabbit's weight. 25 calories per pound of the rabbit's weight plus an additional 11 calories. Which equation represents the situation where C is the total number of calories the vet recommends and the rabbit should eat each day if the rabbit's weight is X pound? So X pound is rabbit's weight and 25 calories times the weight, like whatever is the weight, and plus additional 11 calories, and this will give you the total. So which expression matches? D is the correct answer. Question 6. If 6n equals 12, what is the value of n plus 4? So 6n equals to 12 gives me n equals to 2. So this implies that n plus 4 is going to be 6. Question 7. We can see this equation. What is a solution to the given equation? So you can see this minus 7 on left and the right side. So just add 7. Let's simplify this equation. You get rid of these 7s and you're just left with this quadratic equation, d minus 30, d plus 30 equals 0. So they are saying what is a solution? So I'm getting two possibilities. So you can write either one because both are possible answers. Question 8. Line R in the xy plane has a slope of 4. Slope is 4 and passes to the point 0.6. So we know this point is on the y-axis. Which equation defines line R? So the gradient is 4 and the y-intercept is 6. Just look at which equation matches. So D is the correct answer since the gradient is 4 and the y-intercept is 6. Question 9 shows this diagram. A competitive diver dives from a platform into the water. So the graph shown gives the height above the water y in meters of the diver x second after diving from the platform. So we have time and height. What is the best interpretation of the x-intercept of the graph? This is the x-intercept. So let's see what are the options. A, the diver reaches a maximum height above the water at 1.6. Max height. Nothing to do with x-intercept. The diver hits the water at 1.6 seconds. Seems promising, but let's see the other options as well. The diver reaches a max height. Max height, again, no, nothing to do with max height. The x-intercept is the point where he hits the water. The diver hits the water at zero point 0.2 seconds. No, this is incorrect as well because the time where he hits the water is within 1 and 2, so B is the correct answer. At the speed of v meter per second is given by the function k, where k is such a function, its domain is speed, and k gives you the kinetic energy by this formula. Which of the following is the best interpretation of k of 34 equals to 5,202 in this context? So I know that this 34 is a speed, and this gives you the kinetic energy. So let's see what are the options. A part, the object traveling at 34 meter per second has a kinetic energy of 5202. Seems correct. But let's look at the other options as well. The object traveling at 340 meter per second, wrong. Speed is 34. The object traveling at 5202, wrong. The object traveling at, clearly wrong. So A is the correct answer. Question 11. The scatter plot shows the relationship between two variables x and y. A line of best fit for the data is also shown. For how many of the 10 data points is the actual y value greater than the y value predicted by the line of best fit? So there are 10 points and we need to check those which are above the line. How many do you see above the line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So C should be the correct answer. Question 12. At a movie theater, there are a total of 350 customers. Each customer is located at theater A, theater B, or theater C. There are 3 theaters. If one of the customers is selected at random, the probability of selecting a customer who is located at theater A is 0.48, and the probability of selecting customers located at theater B is 0.24. How many customers are located in theater C? We do not have the probability of C, so I can subtract 1 minus 0.48 and minus 0.24. This gives me the probability of someone at theater C. So let's get this value. 1 minus 0.48 minus 0.24. So the probability of any customer at C is 0.28, right? So now I can time this number with 350, and that will give me the total number of people who are in theater C. So I can multiply 0.28 times 350, and that gives me 98. So D must be the correct answer. Question 13. What is the slope of the graph? Well, you can see this in the XY plane. This is not in the standard form. So first we try to write it in mx plus c form. I'm expanding the bracket. Then divide 3 plus 5x. So these two x need to be added. Plus 5, so 29 plus 15. That is 44 divide 3, x plus 10. So now I know that this is the slope. 44 divide 3 should be your answer. You can use a calculator to add these fractions and this fraction and number as well. Question 14. The length of each edge of a box is 29 inches. Each edge of the box. Each side of the box is in the shape of a square. So this is definitely a cube. So each edge is 29, and we know that in a cube, each face is a square. The box does not have a lid. Oh, so there is no top. One surface is missing. What is the exterior surface area in square inches of this box without a lid? So I know that 29 times 29 is area of one of the face, and there are not six this time since the lid is removed. So there are five of these. So you can use your calculator to get this answer. So 29 square and time it with 5. 4205 is your answer. Question 15. 5 Erythmochilus imbricata. My God. A type of sea turtle. Okay. Each have a nest. The table shows an original data set of the number of eggs that each turtle laid in its nest. So nests are given A, B, C, D, E. Number of eggs are given these numbers. A sixth nest with 121 eggs is added to create a new data set. Which of the following correctly compares the mean of the two data sets? The mean of the original data set is greater than the mean of the new data set. Oh, okay. So let me tell you another interesting feature about the graphing calculator, Desmos. So you go there and check your functions, and you can check in statistics. There is mean. So just type in the numbers quickly, 149 with a comma and comma, then you can put 144 and then 148 and 136 and 139. So this gives you the mean of the original data set. So that is 143.2. 143.2. That's the original mean, or you can say old. So the new one, let's just add one more value here with a comma, 121. And the new mean is 139.5. The new one is 139.5. So let's see the options now. The mean of the original data set is greater. Well, it looks correct. The mean of the original data set is less. Wrong. The mean of both data sets are equal. Wrong. There is not enough information to compare. Wrong. So A is the correct answer. So as I was telling you earlier, get yourself familiar with graphing application Desmos as this is going to be. So explore more functions. You can find plenty here and see how you can effectively use it to save time and do the max on your test. Question 16. In triangle RST, the measure of angle R is 63. Which of the following could be the measuring degree of angle S? So I can just make a random triangle RTS. So I need, okay, so sum of angles of a triangle is always 180. So I definitely know this is incorrect, so it can't be 180. This is incorrect as well because 126, if you add 63, it will exceed 180. Let's check this 118 first. So 63 plus 118 can't be still, it exceeds 180. So if I make it 116, yes. So if it's 116, this can still be 1. So A is the correct answer. Question 17. Which expression is equivalent to this? Let's expand the bracket and simplify. 8x cubed plus 8 minus x cubed and plus 2. So this gives me a 7x cubed and 8 plus 2 is a 10. So B is the correct answer. Question 18. If 4 times square root of 2x equals 16, what is the value of 6x? So let's just solve this first. So square root 2x, divide both sides with 4, you will get 16 divide 4, which is a 4. Square both sides in order to get x first. So 2x is a 16, so x is 8. So 6 times 8 is 48. B is the correct answer. Question 19. So I've got this inequality 2x minus y greater than 883. For which of the following tables are all the values of x and their corresponding values of y solutions to the given inequality? So I need to check which one works. So for this, I can go to the graphing calculator and first I can show you how to put the inequality, like put greater than 883. So this is the required region. You can check. This is the required region. So 440 0 and okay, A and B definitely incorrect. You can check that 440 is not on the line. So 441 441.5. So you can say, yeah, these two. Let's check some other point. Maybe I can check the second point to see. This gives me a -2 on 441, and this gives me a -2 on 440. So let me just check 440, and this gives me a -2. This is one of the given points, and 441 and a -2. Let's see which one is actually, oh, so you can see that this C has 1 point which is not in the required region. So D is the correct answer. Question 20. So I've got these pair of equations. The solution to the given system of equations is xy. What is the value of 30x? Or they look so easy to solve without the calculator. I mean, you can use calculator, but if you add these equations, so you can get rid of these, and 0 equals to 15x and minus 10. So 15x equals 10 and x equals to 10 divide 15. And I need 30x. So this will be 30 times 10 divide 15. 15 twos are 30. So 20 should be your answer. But still, I encourage you. You can use the calculator since it's allowed on every question, all sections. Question 21. A rectangle is inscribed in a circle such that each vertex of a rectangle lies on the circumference of the circle. The diagonal of the rectangle is twice the length of the shortest side. The diagonal is twice the length of the shortest side. The area of the rectangle is this square unit. What is the length in units of the diameter of the circle? So let's take a look at what does the inscribed rectangle should look like. Inscribed mean like it's fit in a way that every edge, the vertex of a rectangle should touch the circumference. They did mention this such that each vertex of the rectangle lies in the circumference. So this is the diagonal, and it's twice the length of the shortest side. So let's call this x, and this is 2x. And okay, another interesting idea that if this is a 90, since it's a rectangle, so there is a circle idea that diameter makes 90-degree at the circumference. So this diagonal is not just the diagonal of a rectangle, it's the diameter of the circle as well. Oh, plenty of information. Okay, so I need to get x in a way that, okay, the area of the rectangle is given. So let's get this length first. I can use Pythagoras theorem. Minus x squared equals to L squared, right? So hypotenuse square minus perpendicular square equals to base square. So 4x squared minus x squared is 3x squared. L squared. Let's square root both sides. So this will be root 3x. So let me just write it over here quickly. Root 3 and x. Okay, this way I can get the area of the rectangle. So that will be root 3x times x. So I can call it root 3x squared. So now put root 3x squared equal to this value, 1089 square root 3. Let's get rid of the square root 3, divide both sides with square root 3. X is going to be, so I can check the square root quickly. Square root of 1089, that's a 33, good. Okay, so I need this value. The diagonal is 2 times x, so 2 times 33 will be 66. So that is the answer. Question 22. Rectangles ABCD and EFGH are similar. The length of each side of EFGH is 6 times the length of the corresponding side of ABCD. So we have a smaller rectangle and we have a bigger rectangle. So we know that it's 1:6. That's the side length. The area of ABCD is 54. This is 54. So what is the area? This area we need. So we know that the ratio of the area is the square of the ratio of the sides. So this is 1/36. Let's just cross multiply. So area is going to be 54 times 36. Let's check what is this value, 54 times 36. That's a 1944, so D is the correct answer. Question 23, which expression is equivalent to this thing, where k is greater than 0? Look at each of the options. They are expressed as a single denominator. So I need to convert this expression into a single denominator. That's your algebra. So I can divide and time with a k. So 42a plus 42ak squared divided by k. So it's definitely not a and b. It can be one of the c and d. I need to factorize the numerator as well. So 42a, if you factor it out, it's going to be 1 plus k squared divided by k. So D is the correct answer. Question 24. Which quadratic equation has no real roots? So there are 4 options for questions like these. Just go to the graphing calculator and quickly type in one of the possible expressions, minus 49. And you can see that this one definitely A is the one with real roots because it intersects the x-axis. Now I can just change values like let me just make this minus and this one a plus. So this one also has a root. Then I can change this to minus and this one to a 5. This one also has real roots. So if you make the last one a positive, oh, so this is entirely, you can see, above the x-axis. So such an equation does not have real roots. So D is the one. Question 25. The function p models the population in thousands of a certain year, t years after 2003. So according to the model, the population is predicted to increase by 4% every n months. What is the value of n? Get familiar with these exponential models. They can sometime be the growth or the decay. It looks like something like this, the basic value, the amount where it all starts, and 1 plus something raised to the power t is a growth, and the value amount 1 minus x to the power of t is decay. It all depends on this percentage factor, which is decreasing or increasing. So keep an eye on the base of the model. So this is the base of the model. So they're saying according to the model, let's take a look at this. So this is the initial value and 1.04. This already is a 4% increase, if you know what I mean. 100 plus a 4 is 104%. So if you multiply 260 with a 1.04, it increases it by 4%. So they're saying the population is predicted to increase by 4%, but we have something as a power, and that is not in months, that is in years, since they say T years after 2003. So if this is a 0, I mean, if t is 0, then you have the initial population 260. But if this is a 1, I mean, if the power is 1, let's call it some other variable since t is already there. So whatever that power is, if it's 1, then 260 times the 1.04 will increase it by 4% gain. So I need to put this power 6 divide 4t, which is years, equals to 1, and t equals to 4/6. But remember, this is in years, so I need to multiply this with 12 in order to make it in months, since n is months. 6 twice, this is 8 months. So let's see which option works. A is the correct answer. Question 26. A circle in the xy plane has its center at minus 1, 1. Line T is tangent to this circle at the point 5, minus 4. Which of the following points also lie on line T? So I need to put this circle first. So it's going to be something like this, 1 minus 1. And tangent at this point. So there is a point which is 5 and negative 4. So this is what the tangent looks like. So the best thing I can do is just quickly make the equation of this tangent line and check which point fits on that line. So let's get the gradient of this center and this tangential point. So y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, negative 5 over 6. So if this gradient is a negative 5 over 6, we know that tangent and radius are perpendicular. So this will be a 6 over 5. This perpendicular lines have gradients which are negative reciprocals of each other. So let's get the equation y minus y1, which is plus 4, and mx minus x1. I can expand it and simplify minus x minus 4. These last questions are obviously harder as compared to the starting question. So you got to be careful with these last ones. So this is the equation of the line. So if I put x0 wrong, this does not balance. Okay, if I put a y7 and 4, no. 2 and 5, 2, 10, 12. Oh, yes, this point does lie on this tangent line. You can check that if you put the y value to 6 over 5 times the 10 minus 10, you can do it mentally as well. So 12 minus 2, that's 2. So since this point balances this tangent line, so it must be on the line T. Question 27. Oh boy, these last ones are really the scary ones. But let's dive into it. For an electric field passing through the flat surface perpendicular to it, the electric flux of the electric field through the surface is the product. Okay, so product. What's the product? Electric flux. So make sure you underline these essential words because you can lose track as you go down in these big statements. So electric flux of the electric field through the surface is the product of the electric field strength. Let's call it strength and the area. Okay. So what I have understood from this first paragraph is like flux is strength times area. Just making my own things. Okay. A certain flat surface consists of two adjacent squares. So there are two adjacent squares in this flat surface where the side length in meters of the larger square is 3 times the side length in meters of the smaller square. So 3 times the side length of the smaller square. So I'm just trying to connect with the problem. So there is a smaller square and there is a larger, and they're adjacent. So if let's say this side is x, that's going to be 3x. And another important thing you should take notes on that every square is geometrically similar, mathematically similar to the other square. So the similarity rules apply to these. Okay, next, an electric field with strength 29 volts per meter passes uniformly through this surface. Which surface? Okay, this combination. Okay, and which is perpendicular to the electric field. If the total electric flux of the electric field through this surface is 4,640 volts per meter. Okay, so I've got the strength, which is 29, and I've got the flux, which is 4640. But for the whole, like the total electric flux, this is. So it means on the complete surface. So let's apply the similarity idea of area. So if this area is x squared, then this is going to be 9x squared, since the area ratio is the square of the side ratio. All right. So now what should be the area of the total surface? That should be 10x squared in terms of this unknown. I hope you get the idea. If you get confused, you can rewind and see this again. Okay. So let's try and get this x, because in the end, what do I have to do? What is the electric flux in volts meter of the electric field through the larger square? Okay, so I need the larger square's flux. Let's go. So I'm using the formula 4640 times the 29 times the 10x square. This will give me x squared equals to 4640, divide 290. Let's see, what do we get? So 4640 divide 290. That's 16. So if you square root 16, you get a 4. If I need the flux for the larger square, the strength is 29, but I need the area. Let's get the area. That's going to be 9 times a 16. That's 144. So this becomes 144. And now I'll put this in my calculator. So 144 times 29, 4176. 4176 should be the flux on the larger square. All right, that was the final question for Module 2 of the Practice Test 5. Remember, because the digital SAT is adaptive, how you performed in Module 1 determines the difficulty level of this module, the Module 2. So it's important to stay focused in both parts and not get discouraged if the questions feel harder. That often means that you're doing well. And like I always say, it's just about getting the answers, it's about understanding the process. So if this walkthrough helped, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss on the future practice breakdowns, strategies, and tips. This is Global Math Mentor, and I'll see you in the next video. Good luck with your prep. Over and out.